Mark always wanted to ask me about an update on the School of Medicine. I started out by telling him that almost 65% of our students had ties to the Inland Empire. And he stopped me in my track and said, that is exactly what we should be doing. Educating people, educating students from the area, because they are the students that will become physicians and return to serve in the Inland Empire. Mark was so excited to hear the great news.
Mark and Pam will always be associated with our School of Medicine. Their instrumentality in creating a school in the first place, endowing the deanship at the school. They also were key members of the effort to build an Alumni and Visitor Center. Huge, significant contribution financially. And major contributions to the Engineering Center on Environmental Research and Technology. So yes, School of Medicine, and we're certainly recognizing that today, but the Rubins' touch on this campus is nearly everywhere, and I'll forever be grateful for those contributions.
Mark would tell me about his life history. I learned all about what it was like for him to be a Holocaust survivor.
My husband's childhood was traumatic. He was born in 1937, and war came to Eastern Europe in 1939. Of the 35,000 children that went through Terezin, 102 survived. My husband, his brother, and the two cousins being almost 4% of the surviving children.
For my bar mitzvah, my parents took both of our sisters, our grandmother, to Eastern, Central, Western Europe, and really got the experience of a lifetime.
Well, we also went to the camps, so to go with our father and grandmother was pretty tough.
You know, he never, ever reflected on the fact that his childhood was horrific, and it was horrific. He never thought about it as a crutch. It was something that happened to him and his family, and you move on.
He came to the United States on March 18th, 1948. He and his father and his brother became building suppliers. And Mark realized that he was in the wrong part of the business. He needed to be in the part where he actually could make the money. My husband had an opportunity to buy about 2,500 acres in Riverside County. And he thought that was definitely the future.
He was a firm believer in that area, and to the day he died, he was still a firm believer. If I said I was going to Riverside or Brian was in Riverside, he always had a smile on his face. There were many, many weeks where he didn't come into the office, so a phone call was made, Mom, did he go to Riverside? Yep, he had his pin on, went to Riverside, and he'd go 5 days a week. You know, people thought that was a little bit off the wall, but we didn't. In my sister's eulogy, she said my dad had three loves: his family, his friends, and the city of Riverside, and not necessarily in that order.
But he had obviously some deep passions with his love for the city of Riverside and his passion for education and making sure that people have an opportunity to better themselves.
They believe that an education takes you much farther in life than without one.
His whole MO is, let's make it good for everybody, not just the building that I'm building, but the community that I'm building it in.
Mark's work brought him to the city of Riverside, to this region, but what he found here was a community to invest in, and a community where he and Pam could certainly make a difference. And they've done that through their philanthropy. and most significantly, the work that they've done in supporting the UCR School of Medicine.
There was always talk about UCR having a medical school, but they didn't seem to have the ability to make it happen. We gave them the seed money for the founding dean, and I'm really proud of that.
Mark Rubin was at the front of that effort to continue the work in building and securing other funds to build out this medical enterprise that is going to help address health outcomes in this region and address our physician shortage.
As supporters of the UCR School of Medicine and also the university as a whole, Mark's support and other donor support have been instrumental in creating an exciting environment for other supporters to come forward, for the faculty to feel that they are appreciated, for the university as a whole to see that the community not only gives their time, but also their financial support to this community and also to the university.
And his legacy will always be here. As we graduate students from UCR School of Medicine and they become physicians, many of them returning to the Inland Empire to serve, they will only be a reflection of the legacy of Mark.
I got to watch him do what he loved doing, working, building, making the people that he built for, making them happy. It's not about us. It's not about the buildings. It's about the people. And that's what's really important.
We are missing him so much, but as I stated, his legacy lives forever.